You start the day with your phone in your hand. Nothing about it feels unusual. A payment clears before you are fully awake. A subscription renews somewhere in the background. You order something small because the morning is already moving faster than you are. The app suggests a tip. Your card is already saved. The total is low enough that you do not stop to think about it. Later, there is coffee, then parking, then one small convenience on the way home, because the day has been long and you do not have much energy left for another decision. None of this feels reckless. None of it feels like a mistake. But by the end of the day, money has left your life quietly, smoothly, almost without resistance. And the strange part is not that you spent it. The strange part is that most of it never felt like a decision at all. Premise: the direction of small money. This is not a story about becoming extreme with money. It is not about removing every comfort, refusing every small pleasure, or turning your life into a punishment. It is about direction. Because $4 a day is small enough to disappear, but consistent enough to become structural. It sits between two very different systems. One system is built to absorb it through convenience, stored cards, automatic renewals, service fees, app upgrades, delivery charges. Small choices that appear when your attention is already weak. The other system can turn that same small amount into ownership, compounding, and long-term financial control. The amount does not change. The destination does. Without direction, $4 becomes part of the background noise. With structure, it begins to behave differently. And once you see that clearly, the question changes. You are no longer asking whether $4 is a lot of money. You are asking who gets to decide what that money becomes. Level 1. The invisible leak. At the first level, $4 does not look like a problem. That is why it survives. It does not arrive like a financial emergency. It does not make you sit down, open a spreadsheet, and question your entire life. It enters through the soft edges of an ordinary day. A small add-on, a faster option, a delivery fee, a charge from an app you forgot you still had, a purchase made while standing in line, tired, distracted, already thinking about the next thing you need to do. Each amount is too small to feel dangerous. And because it feels small, it gets permission to repeat. This is the hidden cost of the first level. You are not losing control in a way that feels like losing control. You are losing it in pieces. A few dollars at a time, across days, platforms, habits, and moments when your mind is somewhere else. That does not mean you are careless. It means the leak has been placed where your attention does not naturally go. And once money can leave without being noticed, the next question becomes colder. Why does your mind let it pass so easily? Level 2. The attention threshold. At the second level, the issue is no longer only money. It is attention. Large expenses interrupt you. They create resistance. You pause. You compare. You justify. Sometimes you walk away. A major bill enters your mind as an event. A small charge does not. It slips under the line where your financial defenses begin. That line is the attention threshold. Above it, spending feels like a choice. Below it, spending feels like background activity. And modern payments are very good at staying below that line. The card is already connected. The button is already there. The delivery option is already selected. The upgrade appears as a small improvement, not a commitment. The monthly charge is low enough to avoid confrontation. The system does not need you to make one reckless decision. It only needs you to make many tiny decisions without feeling the full weight of any single one. This is where the unease begins. Because the problem is not only inside your wallet, it is inside the design of your attention. And once a market understands where your attention stops, it can build an entire path through that blind spot. Level 3, the designed checkout. Level 3 is where the leak becomes engineered. Modern spending rarely asks you to stop and think. It asks you to continue. The card is saved, the address is saved, the subscription renews by default. The free trial becomes a charge because cancellation takes more effort than signing up. The delivery app does not show one clean cost. It shows a sequence of small additions after you have already decided to buy. A service fee. A faster option. A suggested tip. A small upgrade that feels too minor to reject. None of this has to look dangerous. That is the design. The system does not need to overpower your will. It only needs to reduce the number of moments where your will has a chance to appear. Every extra click removed from checkout is one less moment of resistance. Every stored payment method shortens the distance between impulse and purchase. Every default renewal turns yesterday's curiosity into today's recurring expense. Money tends to move toward the path with the least friction. And for most people, consumption has been given a smoother path than ownership. That is the hidden hierarchy of modern financial life. Not simply who earns the most, but which system reaches your money first. And if consumption can build a path for $4 to leave automatically, then the next level begins with a colder possibility. You can build a path in the opposite direction. Level 4, the redirection decision. Level 4 is the first real shift in power, not because the amount changes, because the destination changes. You stop treating $4 as loose money waiting to be absorbed by the next convenience. You give it an assignment before the market around you can claim it. This is not about naming one platform, one company, or one perfect account. That would make the idea too small. The deeper mechanism is simpler. A small repeating flow can be moved away from immediate consumption and placed inside a long-term ownership structure. Instead of buying a brief feeling of convenience, it begins buying claims on productive assets. Small claims. Boring claims. Claims that do not change your life overnight, do not impress anyone, and do not create a dramatic moment where everything suddenly feels different. But the power is not in the drama. The power is in the redirection. For the first time, money that was already leaving your life is no longer leaving without a purpose. It is being routed. It is being assigned to a different machine. And that creates a quiet kind of relief. The financial problem begins to look less like chaos and more like design. You do not have to control everything at once. You have to control the path. But a path only matters if it stays open after the first decision fades. That is why the next level is not about intention. It is about structure. Level 5, the automatic structure. Level 5 is where most people misunderstand discipline. They imagine discipline as a feeling, a serious mood, a strong decision, a new identity. A moment where they finally become the kind of person who always does the right thing. But long-term wealth cannot depend on a mood. A mood changes by Tuesday. It disappears under stress, fatigue, bad news, an unexpected bill, or 1 month where life becomes too loud to think clearly. This is why motivation is fragile. It needs feedback. It needs proof. It wants progress quickly enough to justify the effort. But slow financial systems do not reward you on that schedule. In the beginning, the account may look almost unchanged. The numbers may move too little to feel meaningful. And that is exactly where motivation starts to negotiate. Maybe next month. Maybe after things calm down. Maybe when income is higher. Maybe when the market feels safer. An automatic structure removes that conversation before it begins. The transfer happens before the argument. The money moves before your emotions assemble a case against it. The mechanism does not ask whether the month felt easy. It does not ask whether you are inspired. It simply repeats. That repetition is not exciting. It may be the most boring part of the entire process, but boredom is part of its strength. A boring structure is harder to dramatize, but easier to survive. It does not require applause. It does not require certainty. It does not need your attention every day. It only needs protection from interruption. And once a structure exists, the real test is no longer whether you can start. The real test is what happens when conditions turn against you. Level 6, the discipline test. Level 6 begins when the structure meets pressure. At first, the system feels clean because nothing has gone wrong yet. The money moves. The account exists. The habit is quiet. You start to believe the hardest part was beginning. Then the market falls. Not as a lesson, not as a warning, just as markets do. The number on the screen is lower than it was before. Headlines become darker. People who sounded confident last month become cautious this month. The same structure that felt reasonable when prices were rising suddenly feels exposed. This is where emotion tries to take control back from structure. You want to protect what you have built. You want to pause until things feel safer. You want a long-term plan, but you also want it to explain short-term pain. A well-built structure does not exist to make every month feel good. It exists to keep the direction intact when your feelings become unreliable. When prices are lower, the same repeated dollar can buy more ownership than it bought before. Not because you predicted the decline. Not because you became smarter. Because the mechanism continued when your instinct wanted to interrupt it. That is the hidden test. A long-term system is always being tempted into a short-term reaction. And if it survives that temptation, something begins to change. Level 7, the replication phase. Level 7 is where the account stops behaving like a container. In the beginning, it only seems to hold what you placed inside it. Small deposits, small movement, small evidence. It looks like a record of your restraint. But over time, ownership begins to behave differently from cash. The account starts reflecting more than your contributions. It begins to reflect business activity, reinvested returns, dividends, retained earnings, and the quiet expansion of productive assets you now own in small pieces. This is the shift most people miss. The consumer spends $4 and receives a moment, a drink, a delivery, a convenience, a slightly easier hour. Then the money is gone. The owner redirects $4 and receives a claim. Not a large claim, not an impressive claim, but a claim on future production, future profits, future growth, and the economic activity of companies that keep operating long after the purchase moment has passed. This is where personal finance becomes a wealth system. Labor money begins crossing into asset behavior. And the account may still look modest from the outside. That is the danger of this level. The machine is beginning to work before it looks powerful enough to respect. Many people leave here because the proof is still too quiet. But if the structure remains unbroken, the next level changes the relationship completely. Level 8, the crossover machine. Level 8 is the point where the machine no longer depends on you in the same way. For years, you were the visible source of movement. You sent the money. You maintained the path. You protected the habit from distraction, fear, and fatigue. Then, slowly, the balance begins to generate movement of its own. The growth from the accumulated assets can become larger than the money you are still adding. The system you built starts contributing more force than your monthly effort. This is the crossover. You still matter, but you are no longer the only engine. The structure now runs in the background while you live an ordinary life, while you work, while you sleep, while you forget to check it. While markets rise, fall, recover, and move through cycles that feel urgent in the moment and smaller from a distance, it does not run because it is emotional. It runs because it has no emotion. It was given time. It was given direction. It was protected from interruption long enough to grow beyond the size of the original decision. And at this point, the truth becomes clearer. The real subject was never just $4. It was control over the path that $4 was allowed to take. Final inversion. Direction is power. $4 is not powerful by itself. It is not meaningless by itself either. It becomes what the structure around it allows it to become. Without direction, it is absorbed into convenience, noise, defaults, fees, upgrades, and systems that were already waiting for it before you noticed it was leaving. With direction, it becomes a small piece of ownership, then a small piece of compounding, then a small piece of freedom. The person with more power is not always the person who earns more. It is the person who has built a mechanism that keeps money working after motivation disappears. The system does not reward noticing money once. It rewards building a direction for money before the world pulls it back into noise.